Well, welcome to those of you who have just joined us. And if you don't know me yet, this is your first time. My name's Herbert, and I am the founder and global managing partner here at the Professional Services Leadership Academy. I've been working with leaders in professional services environments now for the last 17, 18 years. And I love to get together with you and give you a little bit of what I do that you can go and use straight away. So we're going to shift gears immediately. We're going to jump into what I call a 20-minute transformation, which is one shift with big impact, but it's only going to take 20 minutes, and I'm going to stick to that. So this month or this session, we're going to be talking about a shift in the way that you see yourself. Now, I know some of you might look at this and go, this is just the warm and fuzzy soft skills stuff. Let me tell you from my experience, this is the stuff that creates the biggest challenge for you, and particularly around the area of being addicted to approval, the performance trap, people pleasing, all those things that we call it. So what I want to do is empower you in the next 20 minutes to finally escape that performance trap and to restore your self-belief and confidence. For me, there was a time in my corporate career where I was using the old fake it till you make it adage. And I was trying to pretend I was confident, and I was like a swan going across the water, which looked ever so graceful. But what I was really doing was flapping my feet under the water really, really fast, and sometimes going around in circles. And I thought if I just pretend, things will be okay. But let me tell you, that didn't work out too well for me, and it doesn't work out for the people that I work with. I get the pleasure and privilege to work with many people at different levels within organizations, within firms all around the world, and helping them to realize that this, what we're going to talk about today, is the foundation of everything else. If you've been following along with me, you know that I talk about these 9 crucial shifts in those 3 areas of leadership: personal leadership, professional leadership, and people leadership. And this is in that first shift area, in the area of identity. So let's start drawing on this and giving you something to take notes. If you haven't grabbed the workbook yet, you can grab that there and we can get started. If you haven't got it, a bit of paper's fine. Just take the notes and we'll make the most out of this 20 minutes. So this shift is in your identity, as I said, and it's about going from being conflicted about who you are. It's about working against your values, doing things and becoming someone that you're not so that you can please other people. And the shift that we need to make here, as I said, which is the foundation of everything that you do, is to go from being conflicted to being congruent with who you truly are. I've found that it's a lot simpler and takes a lot less effort for me to be me than to pretend that I'm someone else. And I know in the work that I do that a lot of people feel the same way. However, sometimes we feel like we need to, or we think we need to, be what other people want us to be or what we think they want us to be so that we can get ahead. And that is not conducive to having a healthy and sustainable performance in the work that you do. And it also has an effect overall. So this shift, as I said, is going from conflicted to congruent in your identity. So first of all, let's get an understanding of that. Your identity is who you are. And in fact, who you believe you are and who you believe you're not. Your identity is what defines you. And it has the words I am when you describe it. So firstly, your identity is not what you do, right? Your identity is who you are. And that's the foundation for all your thinking and all your behavior. Now, being conflicted, which is the challenge for most people that I work with, is operating out of, firstly, three universal fears. Now, those three universal fears are the fear of not belonging, the fear of not being enough, and the fear of not being loved. And whether it's one or a combination or all of those fears, when you're conflicted, when you're operating outside your true identity, you'll do whatever you think you need to do to mitigate or to eliminate those fears. And that's what leads to things like people pleasing. Many years ago, I was the biggest people pleaser around. By the way, if I'd have written as I am, I lost a thumb to cancer. I don't know if you can see that, some time ago. And writing's not my favorite form of doing anything, and it's a little bit untidy. But that would have really concerned me that it looked like that. And I'd think you'd be judging me because of that. By the way, if you are, talk yourself out of that, because you'll miss something along the way. But people pleasing is a big challenge for most humans. And the other thing that then leads to is having no boundaries. And I'm talking about boundaries for yourself, but also boundaries for the way that other people interact with you. Now, being congruent is totally different to that. It's all about getting yourself to a point where you're confident in your own abilities, confident in the fact that everything's going to be okay. It's about being capable, however, being okay not to know it all, being okay to have areas that you're still working on, and capable to be who you need to be so that you can do the things you need to do to get the results that you want. And it's also, when you're congruent, enables you to be creative, enables you to think differently and come up with solutions to challenges that you may or may not have as you go through this thing called life. So I like to do what's called an identity overhaul. And there are three areas that you and I need to take notice of here. The first area is where you get approval. Is it coming from yourself or is it coming from others only? The second area are your beliefs, the beliefs that you have about yourself in particular. And the third area is your conditioning. And conditioning is the wiring of your brain from the experiences, from things that have been said to you that you've taken on and made mean something about you. And it's hardwired in there. So when something triggers that, you can go from an initial thought to a learned behavior in 1/250,000th of a second. Now, when you've got your approval coming from a healthy space and your beliefs are also healthy, that's where you get the ability to be confident. So you're not looking for other things to give you that confidence. You know that you can get there. You can do this. You have everything within you and around you to get ahead in life. When you have healthy beliefs about yourself and you do some shifts in that conditioning, and I'm going to show you over the coming weeks how we do that, then that's going to bring out the best of you. You're going to be more capable of getting things done and making the decisions to do that. And when your approval's coming from a healthy place and you're operating out of this new conditioning, that allows you to be creative, to come up with ideas rather than be stagnated and stuck. And all these things together are your identity. And remember, I said identity is who you believe you are and who you believe you're not. So the first thing we want to do today is look at that first area there. You look at where you're getting your approval. And if we go to the performance trap, I just want to take you through and give you my understanding of what this is. Other people call it things like approval addiction and imposter syndrome and whatever. And I came up with this term many years ago because for me, the biggest challenge is we all have to perform. We've got to do something, right? We've got to get out there. And sometimes, we have to play a part. Sometimes we've got to learn stuff on the go and whatever it is within our career, in our life. And the performance is okay. I'm performing right now. I'm performing as a trainer, as an educator, as an encourager, as a mentor, and that's okay. And what you do is okay as well. And that's the key right there. Your performance is what I do. It's what you do. But it's the motive that you perform for that could be the problem. And most of the time, people are performing to get approval. Approval from external sources, not from within, from other people. And here's the thing. Sometimes you get approval and that makes you feel good. But other times you don't get it. And that makes you feel bad, right? And sometimes you even get approval, but you put it through your belief system that you have about yourself and you mitigate that and you water that down and you go, yeah, but that's the team or it's this or whatever it is. So you even take that approval away from yourself as well. And that then creates the issue with eroding your identity. As I said, your identity's not what you do, not what I do, it's who I am. And it's very important to realize that anytime we say the words I am, we're talking about our identity. So if you hear people say, I am angry, well, no, you're not angry. You feel angry because feelings can dissipate, can change. I am is the foundation of who you believe you are. So let's flip that. Let's get rid of this. Let's escape this performance trap. And here's how we do it. So the first thing that I want you to do is concentrate on taking responsibility for and building up your identity. What I mean by that is instead of looking for approval from other people, looking for what they say for validation, etc., take that on yourself. Build yourself up. And I'm going to give you some tools over the coming 20-minute transformations to do that. And then what that does is allows you to go from a position of approval, which, by the way, it could have an R there if it was spelt correctly, but that doesn't matter. Perfection's never the goal, right? I've been looking at it thinking there's something wrong with that. But anyway, and shifting to a position of self-approval. See, a lot of times we ask for things from other people, or we expect things from other people we're not even giving ourselves. So if you're not approving of yourself, then you're not likely to get it from others in the way that you want it either. There's nothing wrong with getting approval. There's nothing wrong with people saying you did a good job. The problem only comes in when you need it to feel good about yourself, when you need it to validate your worth. If someone says, hey, Grant, I love that. There's a great video. I enjoyed it, got a lot out of it. That's great. However, I don't need that to know that I've done the best that I can do, that I'm okay, that I'm still learning how to spell approval, whatever it is, but it doesn't validate me. Now, here's the key. Instead of performing to get approval from others, which then has an effect on your identity, it either builds it up a little bit or it tears it down and erodes it even further because you're pretending to be who you're not just so you can get that approval. Instead of performing to get that, what you're now doing is performing out of a position of self-approval. So self-approval becomes the foundation. And to do that allows you to be the real you. Now, as we have gone through our life, you and I, we've formed some beliefs about ourselves based on this stuff, based on whether or not we got that approval, based on what people have said, experiences that we've had. It could even be cultural or ethnic backgrounds that we have that have given us beliefs that we took on of other people. So to start being able to build up that identity, the first thing that you need to do is rewrite your limiting beliefs. Your limiting beliefs are what are stopping you from going where you want to go, the results that you want. And what they actually are roadblocks in the way of you getting what it is that you want. So let me take you through a 5-step process. If you're like me, you like processes, it says do this and this and this and this. It makes it really simple. And this is really powerful. And I really want to encourage you to do this. This is where you are going to get the shift that I promised that you would get. So the first thing that you want to do is check in and see what beliefs you do actually have about yourself, the negative beliefs. Now, this is a process that is going to be hindered by your self-talk, by your internal dialogue, right? It's going to, as we go through this process, you will have reason to go, I don't know if that's true, because you've formed these beliefs about yourself to keep yourself safe, to get yourself what you want. Unfortunately, the limiting, or I like to call them false beliefs, do anything but that. So let me take you through it. So the first thing that you want to do is identify what it is that you say about yourself, what it is that is the belief structure that you have around yourself. And there's also belief around other people, and there's beliefs around the world and more general beliefs and whatever. I really want you to think about the beliefs that you have about yourself. And to do that, I am comes in handy here as well, because a lot of times we go, I am, and then we say something, whatever the negative is. For me, I always believed that I was unlovable. I was unworthy, right? So that was a belief that I had. I am unlovable, or your mother didn't love you, whatever that is, right? So identify those beliefs, because they're the ones that are holding you back, and it was certainly holding me back. So that's key number one. The second thing then to do is to acknowledge the belief, and I'll tell you why. See, as I said, you form those beliefs to help you, to keep you safe, with your understanding and the lens you're looking through then, you thought that was good for you. So acknowledge the belief and go, you know what? I can see why I believed that. All right. So thank you for helping me with that. So now that you've acknowledged it, instead of just trying to get rid of it straight away, the next thing you need to do is reframe it. So in my example, I am unworthy, flip that over, becomes I am worthy. And the moment that you say that to your belief, it's going to feel a bit weird, because it's not what you truly believe. So there's more work to be done yet. Then once you've reframed it, from that reframe, you want to create a new belief. You want to write out a new belief and give the evidence of why that new belief is true and the old one is not. And I would suggest that you have more focus on why it is true. So for example, I am unlovable to I am lovable. So why is that true, Grant? Prove that case. Well, my wife loves me. My children love me. Many people love me. There's so much evidence. There's more evidence of people loving me than there was of people not loving me. So I am lovable because, and then the narrative behind that created a new belief for me to try on. And then once you've got those new beliefs, you just need to repeat those new beliefs over and over and over again until, just like you have with the ones that you've got now, You rewire your brain with these new thoughts. So then, or these new beliefs. So then every time you go to do something or think something or make a decision or whatever, it's now coming out of a new belief over a period of time. So there you have a shift that you can make to help you to go from looking for approval from everyone else to being into a position where you are congruent with who you really are. You can have acceptance of yourself and slowly and incrementally rebuild your identity. When you do that, team, things change. Opportunities come. Behavior is different because it's coming from a much healthier platform. So there you have it, 20 minutes, one shift that will change your life. Make sure that you get involved wherever you are watching this. Give me some feedback, some comments, some insights from yourself. And I look forward to giving you some more of this, whether we get the opportunity to work together through the Professional Services Leadership Academy, whether you are reading my book where I go right through all the 9 shifts, or you just come back for the next 20-minute transformation. I look forward to working with you, and I feel it a privilege to be a part of your journey. I'll see you soon.